name's Kathrine Shah, and I've been asked to speak for a few minutes about how I met Janab and my journey in Islam, and also what Muhabbat Mission is about and what we are trying to achieve here. My introduction to Islam was about 10 years ago, actually through my husband, and I had my Shahada, and the sort of several years after having my Shahada, I was introduced to many types of Muslims from different sects in Islam, and slowly learning my way through, learning what to do, what not to do, don't do this or this will happen, don't do that or that will happen. And people were asking me, oh, you've become Muslim, what has changed in your life, what is different? And actually, to be honest with you, this was a really difficult question to answer, because I realised actually in those few years that I'd kind of been introduced to this sort of God that was full of fear and terror, someone or something to be really frightened of. And I thought to myself, how can this fearsome thing be the creator of the world that we live in? The creator of all the beautiful and diverse things that live on this planet Earth, and the creator whose love, as we're told, is 70 times that of our mother. How can this God full of fear and terror be that same creator? And I have to be honest again that I didn't really feel attracted to Islam, really passionately attracted to this. I wasn't inspired, I wasn't attracted by people's behaviour until I went to Lahore 3 years ago for a family wedding, and I was introduced to Mastwaar, Qalandar. Now, you have to understand that my ability in Urdu is limited. I can understand. I can ask someone to make me a cup of tea. I can ask someone to turn the fan off for me, but that's about it, really. So how can a person who doesn't really understand this language in any depth suddenly find herself sitting for up to several hours at a time in the presence of this gentleman? And I'm not really understanding there and then the message that he is passing, but I'm filled with a weird kind of happiness and fulfillment and a kind of contentment. So something's going on, and it's not a linguistic communication, it's some sort of spiritual connection. And I think you would agree with that. Now, after that initial meeting, really, and subsequent meetings here and in Pakistan, in Karachi especially, and through translations of his speeches, I know he is talking about a completely different God or Allah that I was initially introduced to. He's explaining the real love of that God, that creator, that divine conscious, whatever you want to call him, the real love that is 70 times that of our mother's love. And I began to understand that love which is all-consuming and ever-present. And Qalandar Sahib isn't the first fakir who has tried to pass this message to people. Throughout the history of mankind, prophets, messengers, mystics, Sufi Qalandars have tried to put an end to the differences based on religion and creed, caste, and by trying to teach unity in diversity. But sadly today it appears that almost every society around the world, and I think you would agree with me, has lost its core values and ethics. People and nations are constantly fighting, full of greed, filled with revenge and hatred for one another. The entire philosophy of Sufism revolves around purification of the soul, and this is achieved through self-reflection and self-recognition, meditation on the divine conscience that unites all creation. Love is the one true divine conscience that harmonises and unites all creation. Muhabbat Mission is the vision of Syed Mahmood al-Hassan Shah, the Sufi Qalandar, and his aim is to spread its message of love, peace and harmony, and teaching, well, through teaching, self-recognition, which is really knowing your true inner self, really knowing it, really looking deep within yourself and finding out who you are. And no matter what people's religion, creed or caste, Makhdoom Mastwaar Qalandar's vision is that the only emotion should be love for all, and that can save humanity from colossal destruction. But how can we do that? How can you and I start to do that? How can we save humanity? Well, we need to remember, first of all, Rabbil Alameen, Alameen, not just the Muslim world. He is the Lord of all of the world, all of us. He created everything in the heavens, he created everything on earth and everything in between. And I think that especially many Muslims have forgotten that. I think there's a lot of time and energy wasted pointing out the mistakes of others, criticising people, hating people, rather than looking for the most common ground that could unite us all, beyond the bounds of Islam, which is love. We were created as individual miracles, but in essence we are one. We are from one, and we will return to one. But it's all very well for me to stand here and speak fine words of love and unity. It's actually our actions that define us. And it is our mission here to lead by example and to spread this message. We need to show love and kindness and forgiveness regardless of a person's social status, wealth, skin colour, language, spoken or nationality, or whether they call this divine creator by any other name than Allah. We need to unite and we need to show each other kindness and friendship. As Muslims, we have an obligation to seek knowledge, but it's not just the knowledge that is found in books. We need to understand how to behave in this life. We will never understand this unless we observe ourselves in daily life. We have to study ourselves, we have to study our actions, we have to study and monitor our thoughts and words. We must first try to recognise all the faults within ourselves in order to attempt to change them. And how do we do that? By changing our hearts into a mirror that only reflects the divine light. This evening's Qawali is to help spread this message of divine love in order to achieve oneness amongst fellow human beings and, inshallah, to bring peace and harmony wherever we live. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the evening. Assalamu alaikum.